In this video, I want to share with you 5 reasons why I believe life begins at 50. My name's Ronnie, and this channel is dedicating to helping you and others live your full potential. I went from having zero self esteem to absolutely living my dream, and I want to help others do that as well. So let's dive in. Okay, so the first reason that I believe life begins at 50 is that you have more freedom, especially if you had children. So I had my second son. I was almost 35 when I had him. So I became an empty nester at 53. And while I love my children, there's no question that when you're an empty nester, you have more freedom. You're no longer the taxi and running them around and going to activities and that sort of thing. So you have more freedom to devote to yourself, maybe pick up a new hobby, for example. The other thing is well, you can just sleep in because you have that freedom to do that, or maybe take a nap. So number one reason that I think that life begins at 50 is that you just have more freedom to do what you want and devote to yourself. The second reason that I believe that life begins at 50 is that you just have more self confidence. You've had enough life experiences to work through some of those things of figuring out who you are, what you want out of life. There's no more time for the drama and that sort of thing. And so for at least for myself, I had, by the time I got to my 40s and 50s, I'd had an opportunity to really work through a lot of things. As I said at the beginning of the video, I went from having zero self-esteem to absolutely living my dream. And there were several years and decades in between there that I had to work on myself. So, that partly was going to counseling and reading books and doing things. So I really feel like by the time I got to my 50s, I had figured a lot of those things out. Also, when you're in your 50s, you don't sweat the small stuff anymore. You just kind of let it go like a duck. It just kind of, the water runs off your back and that sort of thing. And so you just because you have that confidence and you don't have that self-doubt, you're just in a better place. And it's another reason that I think that life begins at 50. The third reason that I believe life begins at 50 is that hopefully you are financially stable at this point. Earlier in your life, if you went to college, you've got college loans. Again, if you've had kids, you're spending money on your children and that. So by the time that you get to your 50s, hopefully you have a little bit of a nest egg at this point, and hopefully you have moved up in your career and your salary is at a higher level. And so you have financial means that you didn't have when you were younger, that you can spend on yourself, doing things for yourself that you weren't able to do when you were younger. So third reason that I think life begins at 50 is that you have the financial means to be able to do things that you want, that you aren't as concerned about financial concerns and worries, and can, again, just spend time and money on you. The fourth reason that I think that life begins at 50 is that I'm hoping and praying that you're still in good health at this point in your life. And so while you have a lot in front of you, you've got 50 years in front of you, I hope you still have some years behind you. And obviously as we get older and get into our 70s, 80s, 90s, we're probably not going to be in the same health that we are in our 50s. So it's kind of that sweet spot of being able to have that time freedom and the other things that I've talked about, but you still have your health. My financial advisor has said to me as we were planning for my retirement that you're going to spend the bulk of your retirement in the ages from 60 to 70 when you're still pretty good health. And so I've kept that in mind, trying to continue to stay healthy and do things to continue to increase my health. I just booked a trip to Glacier National Park. I'll be going this fall with my youngest son, just the two of us. And so I'll be getting ready for that trip and, doing lots of walking and hiking to get ready for that. So I still have my health. I hope you do too. So again, this is kind of that sweet spot before you really maybe having some serious health issues as you get older, where you're still healthy and young enough to go do some of those activities that you love to do. Okay, we're to number 5. The fifth reason that I think that life begins at 50 is that you have more time for relationships and to give back to your community. So I was able to financially retire at 59 and a half. I still do a few things on the side. I have a little side business, but don't work full time anymore. And so I have time to go to lunch with my friends or go have a coffee and develop those relationships or redevelop those relationships that, we were both, everyone was busy raising their children or involved in their careers and that sort of thing. So things have slowed down enough that we can start to go again, have some lunches together, long lunches, go and have coffees together, trying to plan a trip with two of my friends from elementary school. The three of us are going to try to go on a trip together, something we couldn't do when we were younger and we were raising our children. So another reason that I think of that life begins at 50. The other thing is that if you like to volunteer and give back to your community, you have more time freedom to do that and feel like that you can serve at this point in your life. So I would be very interested in hearing if any of these things resonated with you, if you have the same feelings that I do, or maybe there's something that you would like to add to the list that I didn't mention. If so, I would love to hear that. If you found value in this video, I hope that you will consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so when I post my next video, you will get notified of that. As I say at the end of all of my videos, I hope that you take care, and I want you to know that I'm rooting for your success. I want to take you from wherever you are now, or at least help you take you from wherever you are at now to wherever you want to be.